Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lily's Journal. This is Lily Kolosova. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. Thank you for being here. And this is Caesar Zeus. He is saying hi to everyone. And today is time for journal. Today is, okay, you want to sit this way? All right. All right. Today is November 26th, 2022. Hi, I am so sorry I'm a little late. We have a snowstorm in Colorado, everyone. So that's what's going on here. So welcome on this snowy day. I want to talk about something very interesting. It's 100 years old plan about the alien invasion and what it has to do with right now and what it has to do with real shamanic work and why I'm going to be you guys talking aliens today. This has to do with getting to know your enemy, all right? And the tools that your enemies use so then you can ultimately be a better shaman. Okay. So this is all part of sort of your shamanic journey. And for those of you that here with me, thank you everyone for joining me. Thanks, Angela, Amy, GWH, Miles. Thanks, guys, for being here. So I do want to talk about alien agenda today and what it has to do with shamanic work, because that agenda is so tightly entangled with spiritual agenda in truth movement. Okay, so as most of you know, that those two go hand in hand in our current truth media and truth movement and spiritual movement and those people. So and aliens and that agenda and that whole topic had played a huge role. And so I've talked in the past about some of the people that are out there talking about what truly is happening on the planet, and the ones that are calling themselves that they're revealing the truth, or the truth movement speakers, or whatever you want to call them, these people. But actually, I've been talking about that. This is all part of the Club Idiots Assembly agenda to actually cover for the truth. And so I want to talk today about the aliens and how that plays role into this 100-year plan of enslaving all of humanity around the world through that agenda, because that would be, as many of you know, that this programming is always, it's predictable, because that's the programming. We're talking about programming. And so here we're going to uncover how it works. It's just not now. I hope that most of you that are here joining me, that those of you guys that are here, you hear because you understand that that is anti-human agenda. So you as a true shaman, you understand that's your enemy right there, and how it infiltrated spirituality and how all of that agenda infiltrated everything, because this is one common fear for all of humanity. So this is a battle for all of humanity here. So we're in the war, in the spiritual war, like I said. And so this agenda is on that level because it has to do with the vehicles here and our souls and all of that. So as you all know, what true shamans are here to do and what true shamans are here to guard, to truly guard for humanity, is this original authentic path of creator being. And this is what the infection is actually. We are uncovering the infection Okay. And so aliens is part of it, you guys. So thank you so much for being here. Okay, you guys. So since it's snowing and cold here in Colorado. All right, Zuzi. All right, he's sleepy because it's cold. So I'm gonna tuck him in here nicely. All right, Boo. All right. So I'm drinking tea because it's cold. So it's a green tea with pomegranate and cardamom. All right. So green tea and cardamom. Okay, here we go. All right. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh. Naraf, you here. Comfort in. Jose. Be true. Thank you. Deanne. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello. And here's to you, my dear friends, my shamans. How's everybody's journey going? How's everything going, you guys? Okay. We're going to do some shamanic math today. And this is why I said 2 + 2 = aliens. Hugs. Hugs, be true. Thank you. Hugs to you too. 2 + 2 equals aliens. Why? Because it's ultimately the ultimate card. And I always say that, and I've said this for many, many years. I never kept that secret, that's the ultimate card. So, of course, me being the investigator that I am, of course, going to be investigating the alien card that our invaders have been planning openly for last 100 years. And so this is why I've posted some of the Bill Cooper's revelations, and he actually paid with his life for those revelations. So I think we can agree that most of not most of the major reason for him not being here with us, like I said, that yeah, of course, this revelation of the fact that truth movement is actually part of the plan, a cover-up plan. And truth movement it's just, this revelation is already out there. It's just that, it's out there. I think, my YouTube does backward counts on views just because this is what I talk about, that truth about what was all of that really designed. But amongst those truth speakers, there's always, but yet that was also a channel where the truth speakers would come true, and then what would they do? There was a part of that controlled opposition that would only focus on the truth speakers and then bait and catch truth speakers and then get them under their control. And so a lot of that invasion happens in truth movement, as you might start seeing a lot of people that worked with some of those people, or a lot of revelations are going to start coming to the surface, right? Because the truth will eventually start coming. But what was happening in last, well, let's say, I don't know, maybe 12 years or so, right? So this is why I posted Bill Cooper there, because his revelations were real. And then if those of you that follow truth movement ever since those times, you'll understand what he was talking about. And so for those of you guys, it's like 9-minute video on Facebook in Wild Wisdom Warriors group. Just listen to it, okay? About the alien invasion, and he had the documents about this plan and this agenda. So when we today see, and then I talk about some of these people that are covertly covering up for network by projecting all this alien agenda and coming from this, and they wear this mask as though they are all pro-human and they're just here to help, right? They're here to help us to ascend. So don't pay attention to what's going on to your innocence and what's happening to the children. Here's aliens. But ultimately, why? Because those that are in the market for fear, right? Like I talked about, the cat's out of the bag, the yucky David Icke, yucky. And by the way, David Icke, what do you think when the world finds out why you really went to Ukraine? Oops. Did I say too much? David Icke, did I say too much? Oh, wait. I've got more to say on that. For now, that's all I'm gonna say. But so whose intent? So you gotta look at because now as a real shaman operating through your own intent, you have 360 degrees view on your external world. So what you see in external world, you will immediately recognize the illusion, but you will also know why. Okay. And the reason I put why in a kill box it's because that is the exact reason why we need to dig in. Why? Because it's a unifying but unifying in fear, right? So it's fear-based enemy, right? So what happens is it's a covert, like a covert. The liars are like, oh my gosh, it's like I was talking about David Icke, right? What is about what you will recognize what's at the core. Where's the core? Because you're looking at this as, okay, I see the fruits. Somebody's, I see what's happening. And now when you're at that point yourself where you see clearly and you gain clarity on what is happening with collective human consciousness and how, because only when you attain that spiritual mastery yourself, you will understand that there's no color or nation or bloodline or anything that has any value or it has nothing. In spiritual world, it means nothing. And so when you're a true shaman, you'll see no value in illusion. Okay, so when somebody make claims, because you root it within your own field, when someone makes claims, you can trace that energy because all is a vibration. You can trace that energy And you can trace it to its core. Okay. And this is what's happening. So this is why I say, look at that. 2 + 2 equals aliens. But in illusionary world, that's exactly the veil that they've attempted to pull over all of humanity's eyes. Is aliens all collective human consciousness problem, solution, situation? Yes, it is, you guys. Hi, God's grace. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making it. Ed Arnold, you said Truth Movement has aliens out there. They are not, they are dimensionals, right? They're demons, basically. They're basically demons. So they put masks on demons as though they're aliens. And scary, right? Scary aliens and everything. And like I mentioned in my one of my previous journals, why do you think somebody like David Wilcock, who I've talked about, being openly one of these protectors of this network, that it's being revealed right now to humanity, right? But what these people can do, because they're of parasitic nature, they can only attach themselves to something else, to some other knowledge, and then all they can do is then they just twist it. And that's why every one of them, you ask them what's 2 + 2, and then they're just gonna go aliens, because that's all they know, because it's not capable, that individual is not capable of thinking for itself. It is completely operated by a parasitic consciousness. And that's just what it is. And I've explained how it does. First, and even with David Wilcox, right? He speaks of aliens today. And like I mentioned, blue avians. Why do blue avians look coincidentally almost exactly as Baphomet? Coincidence, David Wilcock? Nope. There is no coincidences. There is no coincidences, right? So the mask, and then it can, like, he attached himself to Edgar Casey. He attached himself to Anunnaki. Then he attaches, and because all of those masks, he's got to have mask on. It can't be there, its true self. It cannot show its true self, because there is nobody home as a human being. Like it used to be cool amongst themselves that used to claim and admit to who hosted more demons. They would get on their conferences and talk who hosts more demons, and that was cool. It was nice and cool, because that's what Truth Movement was all about. It's all about masks. So, oh, hi, hi, I'm live. Okay. So, all right. So what I'm talking about is that for a true shaman, when you go 2 + 2 and someone goes aliens, well, you understand, they're special. And so they attach themselves to all other teachings. And so everything becomes about this external form. Why is that? And then here we are. And then all of a sudden, in last couple of years, everything is turning out to be, oh, it's about self. So how does then all of this then all of a sudden changes its masks and it transforms into something else? It's now all blue avians are all about us human beings doing it for themselves. Oh, why did you get here? And why did it take you how many thousand years to get here to help us? And then all of a sudden, we just to tell us that we need to help ourselves. Okay. You know what I mean? So it becomes very obvious about what it is that they're actually doing. And so it becomes this, transparency. And transparency is kind of an interesting thing. It just is. It is what it is. And there is nothing, and nothing is hidden. So you understand what's going on. So like one of those I saw recently, you guys, since we're talking about blue avians and all of their Bahametic gestures and things like that and all of that, they I don't know, special. Hi, Pavel. Yeah, those are what I say. Those are the dust that the dead light, as I used to call it. So, Ed, you said, our light spectrum. Yeah, we don't, with this eyes, we don't see anything because it's part of their genetic manipulation. This is why it takes here to develop your inner eye, your to activate your whole trinity and all of that stuff and go through your self-realization and self so then you can anchor yourself in a true living field instead of that dead light, because that's just that it using you as a battery. It always attempts to use you as a battery. That's what happens, is they're always asking for energy. So you guys know that now there's a lot of things coming into play about energy. And this also has to do with this agenda, you guys. Okay. So, a lot of things that, and those of you that kind of know that, we can really openly talk about things like that here. So, but what I'm saying is that it's all gonna come down to those levels to where we have to understand why certain things, had to be hidden this way, and why there was so much effort put in to cover. Why? Keep asking yourself why, so you can fill in and understand, and so you can understand, I guess, so we can, every one of us can understand when you see that bigger picture and you see what you know and how it fits into, and especially those of you that's been targeted. Yeah, Miles. There is other things that indicate a lot of that, but I mean, the shamanic, I would go with all the shamans around the world, and they're all of the traditions, and I think this is the best foundation for original timeline, is all the traditions around the world. That's why this is here how much attempt has been put on eliminating all of this traditional ancient knowledge. And how much attempt to this day, I even give you a few of the names that are tasked with that same program, on how many people throughout the ages had stolen those original teachings and twisted them into harvesting, into programs to harvest human consciousness. And this is what it's all about, you guys. When those of you who remember my original graft that I did on human consciousness, what did I talk about? Harvesting. Okay. So ultimately, this question, why, is because of harvesting. Harvesting what? Harvesting human energy. How do you harvest human energy? What's up? Okay. There's a lot going on because it's a snow day. Everybody's home. We're all at home. Snow day. Nobody went anywhere. So anyway, so how does that happen? It's a deep subject, so it's going to be going deep, you guys. So you have to understand what these clowns out there with all these masks, what they were doing in the past now. But this is what comes up next for them, is that they have to cover for their own covering now. How do they do that? How do they cover for their own covering? Because that's what they're doing, right? So when you look at those people that I've named in the past, in Truth Movement, and they speak and touch on this subject, you can untangle what they've entangled their alien stuff through what they can, because they need to infuse fear. Okay. And so then they have this common thing, a fear of aliens, through every human beings. And then this being in plan, there's many revealers that came before me, and there's many that are right now talking about this, that it's all been pre-planned to scare you. Why? So all the lies are turning inside out on them. So what are they going to do with those lies? Turn them inside out again? Yep. Special people will do that. What does David Wilcock working on right now? Ascension. New ascension. I kid you not. There's a new ascension. Yep, he's working on it really hard. So, and then, so it's all then, and then they're going to be twisting it. They're going to be twisting it, and they're going to be twisting it. Okay. And so, all right. Q. Who's out there from our Club Idiots Assembly? Special decoder. Special Q decoder. Jordan Setter. Special. So special. 2 + 2. Jordan. Aliens. So all he can connect it, he's connecting the dot. Q talks about aliens. See, that's all they're there to do, is to just project this BS. The special. So everything, it twists everything. And you ask him, and then secret space program. Jordan Satter, hi. Secret space program. Hi, Jordan Satter. Secret space program. What did Q said today, Jordan Setter? Secret space program? Aliens. That's Corey's goodies protege, Jordan Setter. And you tell me that those people care for humanity? And why are they still out there having talk shows? I'm just asking questions here. So, you see what's happening? And what is it that's coming out? What's truly at the foundation of the human consciousness degradation? None of them ever talked about it, did they? But it's all coming out. But it's all coming out, right? Thanks, Ed. Right on with Jordan. Jordan, I mean, he's extra special. Special. I feel bad for the kid. I mean, because he's been terribly abused, terribly abused. So that's what because they are. These people do not operate on compassion or love or anything. Why would someone like that, who can't do any decodes, and this is for people who, who follow him. For those of you, or somebody will pass on this message to him. But for those of you that do the decodes, how an Bethel like this that can't even add 2 and 2, it always ends up either a secret space program or aliens. That's his all of his every day. He talks about it. Everything ends up somehow and just ends up there. Why? Why? And then on top of that, it's so funny because YouTube spiked his algorithms. So the actual people that do real, incredible, deep research, they put out a video with authentic, unique, bombshell, exploding information, and they would have twice as less views than Jordan's special report. Jordan, I'm special. I'm reporting. It's aliens. Do you see? And then they've spiked it up, his views, and he's talking about everything ends up with aliens. Why? Why would somebody be day in, day out focusing on that? Why? Why, Jordan? Well, I know why. But this is for those of you that are still fooled by that. Ask yourself why. Why are they working so hard to keep turning you away from the real truth that needs to be uncovered? And why are they turning you from taking any action? And why do they give you solutions, the fake solutions, to their fake problem? They give you fake solutions that you can't do anything about it, right? Like Ike, the yucky Ike, right? Talks about problem solutions, problem reaction, or, talking about following that, except it's a little twisted, right? Give you no solution, only give you a bunch of problems to raise up your fear because that's all he's been paid for, to raise your fear frequency. That's what they paid them for. That's why they get big bucks. And that's why they get to go to Ukraine and play. Right, David Icke? Big bucks for keeping humanity at the high level of fear, because that's what they feed on, right? So why does Jordan Setter always ends up on nothing you can do? The only thing is with Bethel, and it's about space program. That's all it's about, space program. They talk truth because that's what it is. He is embodiment of that space program. And what I've talked about, of that splintering of the mind through abuse. Right there. Jordan Setter. There's more on that. Revelations, a lot more on that. But I just wanted to show you some of these people that are still out there pushing it so hard. The only reason they're pushing it so hard, because what's at the core of this? How do they control? All at the core is abuse. Abuse is at the core. This is what they're covering, the abuse of innocent children. And so the abused then protect the abusers. And that's the situation with their proteges, right? Because nobody's buying into Corey Goody's bullshit, right? And he's being sued, and now they're shitting their diapers because the real evidence of what Gaiam TV was involved in will come to the surface through the court proceedings. So trust me, Gaiam TV needs a delivery, a truck delivery of diapers, adult diapers. Maybe we should pitch in and do that for them, because they're in. But see, it's still worth it for them to push that, because if they don't, what's at stake? The truth at stake. The truth will just come up. And so some of you guys goes, why they're so obvious? Like, why is Jordan still doing that? Why is he being so like doing that? Why can't he just, stop following that? I mean, if he does, that's admitting defeat. There's not, I mean, the parasite doesn't want to admit defeat, because it's survival. So this is why it's a survival tactic. It has no compassion. There's no compassion. That agenda has no compassion. That's why when you really look at those people that are pushing this alien agenda, it's completely compassionless. Nothing, it's just just a program. It's a Kool-Aid. It's a Kool-Aid. It's a form of Kool-Aid. That's all it is. It's just same shit, different day. Hi, Jerry. All right, you have a question about aliens. All right. Do you think some of the truth will come out in 2020? Are there any positive ETs? No. There's no positive, negative ETs. All of that is part of, there is technologies that exist. There's technologies that exist that just, that you would say are out of this world, that here, but not a biological beings. That's my understanding, but that's my own personal opinion. So that's all I can give you, Jerry. Okay, Pubsy. So you said, so are those people then taken over by parasitic consciousness? Yes, I've talked about this since 2014. They're operating on this deadlight reality. It's a harvesting system. It's a soul harvesting system. So, hi Tracy. So yeah, there is a lot of people out there. Yeah, they Tracy, they're over there. Need maybe a few trucks. Ed, thank you so much. You said, Lily, I keep coming back because what you say is nowhere else. No, I just speak what it is that I feel is, and I have a lot of interesting dreams lately, and then interesting insights to you guys, because I'm still working through all this, and a lot of pieces are still coming together for me. But it's a lot easier now, and the reason it's a lot easier to talk about this is because I can have examples like this, right? And then you guys can look back and see it, the facts, because all you have to do is just be in that neutral position and look back, look at people, what they were talking about and predicting what's going to happen. And now none of it happened. Like I've talked about, uh, Cliff High. Cliffy the dog, the deep state dog, right? For years, none of his stuff was happening. Why? Because it was a negative fear-based projections. That was all it was. It was projection. It was projection. It was projections. All it was. It's like parasites, makes your body wanted to crave sugar. And that's the same thing. That information was there for that specific purpose. So you can release the fear. So then they can suck on it, on that. That's a parasite. It's a vampire, energetic vampire, right? Well, Goyim, that's why it's called that, Goyim. These people. But that's all right. I'm telling you, when I tell you that they need those diapers, oh, they do. They do. Some of them are special, so they don't know it yet. They think it's ice cream in their pants. Like I mentioned some people before that think it's ice cream. Chocolate ice cream in their pants. But see what they're keep continuing doing what worked before. But see, those of you that are operating on a different level, you're living in a different reality, and you're can see now for yourself. So you have clarity, and so you see what's happening in the external world, and you see. So now, just by you not being afraid of it, right? Not reacting to that. And this is why I say, and this is why I try to laugh at them when I talk about them, because I don't want to trigger any fear-based reaction in anyone that listens, because not everyone that comes here is here as a stable shaman that's in self-controlled reality. So some people might watch this and they're not self-controlled, so they will react in a different way, and I've seen it in comments. constantly up to last. It's only in last few of my journals, last few, that I don't find any of the people, but the trolls are still, they're still gonna attempt to do stuff and try to project the fear, because that's all they need. They're just gonna trigger fear. And if we don't pay attention, because it's on subconscious level, it's just gonna be triggered, and we're just unknowingly feeding that agenda. And so that's what happens. So, oh my God, 45 minutes. But anyway, so this is what the whole alien agenda is all about, I think. And so the project Bluebeam then became Bluebirds, and then became whatever that coincidentally looks like Bahamut. I mean, it's like, this is why I say it's easy, and you can start. It's like, okay, come on, you guys, you know come on, Goyim TV. You didn't know that? I mean, it's not that complicated to see once you know what you're looking at. Well, yeah, because you had opened your own inner seeing abilities. You've developed your own abilities to see things for what they are, to see the reality for what it is. So then you can operate it. Because if you don't know in your car which pedal is gas and which is brake, you're not going to be driving very well, right? So this is what, and those things, this is what I say to you guys. When you have those things and those people in your life that show up, and you have this passion about this some of the subjects. Okay, pay attention to that. If you have passion about some of the subjects, even these people talk about, there is something there. There is fire. When there is smoke, there is fire, right? That's the saying go. I guess. So just kind of look at that, and see where it leads you. But so you can investigate everything. But then you have to have the confidence in yourself once you attain your own inner vision, and you have your ears to hear and eyes to see, like it says in the Bible. Hi, Bianca. Hot discussion. Joe Rogan has more interesting format. Yeah, Joe Rogan has some interesting stuff and interesting subjects he talks about, and a lot of truth is coming out there. Some interesting stuff, but it is what it is, public. It's all in public. Actually, a lot of that stuff was never really hidden. It was all out there. And it's really difficult right now to kind of, because what happens is with these people, it's like with a narcissist, you guys. And those of you, I said, a lot of you probably had relationships or experienced in your life some sort of narcissistic relationship where you had to figure out how these people operate. So then you don't have any blinders in your conscious awareness, in your body consciousness, as I like to call it. So how the enemy operates. So this is, you just basically look at that as training and practice to how to recognize the enemy. And so they have a certain feel to them too. Once you experience that you learn to recognize the signature of this kind of people. And so they operate in the same way. So you can really, and those of you that try to you can really confront a narcissist, because they believe in their lie and they won't accept anything else. All right. So when you confront them, you're completely like you're just the worst of the worst, and all they're gonna do is they're gonna explode. So that's why you have to certain way go around it, because they don't operate in the same way. It's the same thing with these people that been programmed and trained this way to do the certain tasks out there covertly, while pretending or while wearing a mask that they're helping human beings to find the truth, while they're you know, telling the truth in a way, because they can't just, put a bunch of lies out there. So they gotta have to put a lot of truth out there, but they have to put something in there that will create this fear frequency in human being. And so this is basically what, like, those people like me, I look for that. And this is why I am not like um I'm not afraid to call out David Icke and call him out on his shit, because I know exactly what he's been doing for years, and it's time will come to answer for that, because you're the facilitator or the harvester of that energy. So you facilitated that for those entities. So responsibility, transparency, after transparency, as I talked about, comes responsibility. So, and this is just like it is for a real awakened shaman. It's like you start taking responsibility for your own energy. And this is why I said, when you go to some of those healers, and especially the ones that have those healing modalities, then include some sort of parasitic structure to it, that also seed you with fear and all of that stuff, you will see that most of the so-called healers are very sick themselves. Okay, so that's for you. The nature's telling you, got the eyes to see, got the ears to hear. Okay, so it's just what it is. So you gotta, it's all, you guys, about coming back to developing your own abilities to see, questioning your own self, trusting your own quantum abilities, trusting your own timing, trusting your own expression, trusting your own vehicle, operating your own vehicle, not having any blinders, not having any of the whatever narcissistic relationships, entanglements, and all of that. Not have any doubts about where your true power lies. And this is what it begins with. And like I said, with that recognition, as I said, ultimately, I don't know, years ago, I said that your life, your true life, begins at the moment you recognize that you are an eternal being. That's when your true life begins. And until that recognition, you're not going to have self-awareness. You're not going to be attaining self-awareness unless you recognize that you are an eternal being. Because until that moment, you're separate from eternity, because you don't trust in your eternal self within. And that's why it's just kind of like a mystery school type of thing, is to get you to the point to where all of my things up to this point, I think, was about that once you have that recognition, then that's your anchor. That's your anchor in that eternal field, in that ether. You're then like a pillar of creation, because you're an eternal pillar that is incarnated in this human body. You are become the vehicle of source creation, and you are in human form. Your creation in human form. And with that comes a huge responsibility. But before responsibility comes transparency. And so with transparency comes clarity. And so this is what It's immortal, Zur. Yes, it's immortal. It's the pillar of creation. That's what we are. And a lot of that in ancient teachings, it talks about the pillar. It's actually the north and south pole, right? As we of the energy of that force field of creation. And so that's what, and so you guys, a lot of this, and again, for those of you that like your scientific mind tingled, look into quantum physics and all of that stuff. I posted recently about the quantum mechanics and the new experiment, and how the experiment proved that we do exist in two different times at the same time, in the same time you can exist in two, and that connection between the wave and the particle and all of that stuff. So for those of you that like the scientific, like you like to take the scientific route, that information is kind of like for some of you that are scientific out there. That's basically because this is what, and it talks about more about this is your modern, more like a hermetic principles comes in about particle waves and quantum physics and all of that stuff. So this is like in ancient knowledge, that's your hermetic principles, 7 hermetic principles, and then 8th one being the combination of or well, include all the 7, and then it's the ultimate, it's the creator self. And so that's that principle, that's that ultimate principle, it's the universal principle. Okay. And so if you want to look at, all of that mythology about hermetic principles and all of that, that's a great way of understanding soul alchemy too. So, because this is what it's all about. And so once you recognize that presence of eternity within you, and this is that, I don't know, there's so many different names for it, but it's within us, you guys. And so this has always been for me this path of, and this is why I say always, I'm reporting on things that I am finding out through this trust in this eternal being that is me, that is within me, because that's the being that is incarnated into this physical world. And with that, my subconscious mind is programmed through that trust into that superconscious mind of it all. That's been called, and that's one of the principles, hermetic principles. It's all mental, right? So and I personally think with and this is why my journey is so joyful, you guys. I am incredible, because it's like getting to know your awesome self. Being able to let your creativity flow, let your life be what it is, because once you say, I'm an eternal being and I'm here in this reality right now, right here. This is like the now moment striking when you recognize that all this life is all eternity. If you choose to sort of be that, and this is what ultimately, what this alchemy, right, is all about, is once you step in and then you unroll yourself, that eternal self. And that's where the gnosis are located. So you got to question your own eternal self. So that's why, you guys, when I work with you on with shamanic coaching, shamanic wellness coaching. So when I do sessions for that with you guys, this is all about you taking your power back and claiming your life back, and then moving forward and being responsible for your life, because this is only a way for you to follow the joy, because until you know exactly your own life's map, or how it is that your higher being or your eternal spirit experiencing this reality as that, and then it's your authentic own signature in here, and everything that is here, it's you're one of the whatever. So it's like it's amazing, because the life becomes living. It's about living. Then when you become, when you recognize this is why I keep stressing this, it becomes about living, not about any ideas. It becomes about living now moment and just being grateful. And and so you guys, Thanksgiving is coming. Oh my God, 1 hour. So Thanksgiving is coming, and I know it's a weird holiday, especially here in America, because of all the things. But again, we got to bypass all the fear programming, because we have the power to do so. And so no matter what, Thanksgiving or not, um, we're going to be grateful. And I for once, I no, not for, what am I saying? I for one, I myself, have so much gratitude for this past year. Oh my gosh, so much gratitude. I can't even tell you how much gratitude I have. I am so grateful for each and every one of you that's here, that's listening to these videos, and that you guys have shared your experiences. And I thank you so much for doing that, because that confirms for me so much of what I experience in the spiritual world. You guys have no idea. Sometimes I read one of you guys' comments, and I'm like, were you guys there at me with me at night watching what was going on? Right, Ed. Gratitude is the key. It is the key to your joy. It is. It truly is, because this is like it opens the door into that. So absolutely agree so much. And so I am so grateful for every one of you guys, um, for all this beautiful intent that I feel in your comments. I feel it through here. And so that's why I'm gonna keep doing this. This is so amazing, and it's so helpful for me. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for every comment, for everything, for you being here, supporting all this. It's an amazing journey. It's an amazing journey, and it's just so much to be grateful for. So thank you. I love you all so much. You go ahead and enjoy this weekend with your families. Follow your joy. It just be you. There is no one else that could be better you than you, because you know yourself. And until next time, you guys, I love you all so much, and thank you. And stay wild, everyone. Be the wolves that you are out there in the spiritual world. Tracing some stuff right now. Ooh, ooh. But I'll report on it in a few days, okay, you guys? But until then, thank you everyone so much. Bye.